Hello everyone, John12 back here again with another video, and seeing as how I've been doing a lot of DC content type of stuff, I decided to do something a little bit different, but continue with my DC talking. So DC's just been dropping bombs left and right, and all of it's pretty much awesome. Even though a lot of people have been bitching, I personally am fucking in love with all these ideas, and personally, the biggest one is, of course, the Justice League roadmap. We, of course, got a roadmap not too long ago introducing the list for the cinematic universe, and whether or not you like to differ with it and debate whether or not it's true or not, most of it's confirmed, and most reliable sources and people who are involved with the project have basically confirmed it, so it's definitely a done deal and it's going to happen. So personally, for those of you who don't know the list, this is it. It's Batman vs. Superman, which of course we already know, Shazam, Sandman, a Justice League movie, which of course we already knew, Wonder Woman solo movie, a Flash and Green Lantern crossover movie, and of course the long overdue Man of Steel sequel. Basically, I decided, for the first time ever, why not do a dream cast, as I like to call it, a fan fiction fan casting. A lot of people on YouTube like to do that, just do fan casting, and seeing as how Justice League is the biggest thing of today that I'm personally really into, I decided why not just do a fan casting for the eventual Justice League and all the various characters that are introduced in the cinematic universe, and of course the specific movies that I've done. Now, first off, I'm not going to name the characters that we've already know that are going to be featured as their respected superhero characters. You know, like Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck as Batman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Ray Fisher as Cyborg, and of course Jason Momoa as Aquaman, supposedly. So of course I'm not going to name them, but I'm just going to name the other ones. You know, like Shazam, Sandman, and Flash and Green Lantern. So let's just go on right into it. First off, I'm just going to do the superheroes. I'm not going to name any villains or whatnot. And of course, this is subjective. It's my personal list. So of course, in the comment section, leave yours. And I want to hear your guys' fan fiction, fan list, your dream cast for the eventual Justice League lineup. Let's get right down into this. Starting off with Shazam, who should play Captain Marvel? I personally go with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. As we all know, Dwayne Johnson's been obviously signed up to be a part of the DC universe for a long time now. He's been in talks with DC for years, and just several months ago, practically a year ago, he's obviously been signed on to be a part of a big DC character, to play a big DC character, and of course be a part of a big DC movie. And seeing as how DC's all for the cinematic universe, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a part of one of these films. And personally, I don't really care what anybody says. I know a lot of people have been saying he should play Lobo or Black Adam or Martian Manhunter or Captain Marvel. I say fuck the villains. Let him be a hero. Why would DC work so hard to get Dwayne Johnson to play a character if he was only going to play a villain? You know, it just feels like a complete waste of time, money, and just production value. It's just have him play a hero. And if I would like to see him play a hero, let him be in the Shazam movie, but not as Black Adam, as Captain Marvel himself. I personally think if DC is going to go right on ahead to do a Shazam movie, let him be Captain Marvel. That's what I'd personally like to see him play as. But that's just my personal choice. And of course, a lot of people would differ with me. A lot of people think he shouldn't do it, or it's kind of miscasting. But then again, it's a perfect choice. And plus, Captain Marvel is not even a real person. He's a kid in real life. He's Billy Batson, and of course yells out Shazam. It becomes a Greek god. So it's not like he has to look like a kid, a certain type of kid. It's okay for him to look like, obviously himself, Dwayne Johnson, just dressed up as Captain Marvel, of course. So that's just my personal idea. As for Billy, I don't really know. In the comment section, leave me your ideas. I really thought really hard as to who I want to play Billy Batson in the Shazam movie, the kid version. I really don't know. It's a really hard choice. I really have zero ideas. So just leave me your thoughts on who should be the kid version of Shazam. But moving off of that, going into the Sandman movie, I've talked about this before in my prior video that I don't really know which version DC is going with. They're either going to go the Vertigo route or obviously go to the superhero Wesley Dodds version. And personally, I said that I'd rather DC go with the Wesley Dodds version. But just in case they go the other route, more than likely, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's going to play that version of Sandman. But just in case they don't do that, I'd rather see Benedict Cumberbatch, I think that's how you say his name, play Sandman. I don't know. I really thought about it hard, and I don't know. I really like to see him play it. And you know, I know he's on the short list of actors that Marvel wants to play Doctor Strange alongside like Tom Hardy and Jared Leto and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, if Marvel doesn't get Benedict, I say why not DC grab him? You know, if Marvel's not gonna give him anything, just have DC grab him and put him in something and let him be Sandman, let him be Wesley Dodds. I'd rather see that. I mean, it would be pretty awesome. I know he would come up with a really nice, interesting, cool voice for Sandman, which would be pretty badass. So I'd personally go with him. Now, moving off of that, going to the Flash Green Lantern crossover. For this one, I'm just gonna go right down to Green Lantern, which is the harder choice. And of course, I'm doing two versions of Green Lantern because, of course, we don't know yet as to which DC has chosen as to which version they're doing. There's multiple versions of Green Lantern, but the big two popular versions that everybody knows is Hal Jordan and John Stewart, and those are the two I'm going to pick through. For Hal Jordan, I really had to think hard as to who I would like to see in my fan cast to who play a good Hal Jordan Green Lantern, and seeing as how DC supposedly has said that they're not going to have Ryan Reynolds come back as Green Lantern, this is a reboot Green Lantern, I say, why not Jude Law? I don't know, I was just thinking about that. I was like, I'd like to see Jude Law in a DC comic book movie. I don't know about anybody else, but I'd like to see that. He just looks like he would be awesome in a Jude Law Jude Law in a Green Lantern movie. That would be pretty awesome. I don't know. I'd like to see that. I don't know. He just comes off as like he would be a good Hal Jordan Green Lantern for some reason. And plus, I don't know. For his last couple movies have been boring to me, and I'm just thinking like, you know what he needs? He needs a comic book movie. And if Marvel's not going to choose him, I say DC needs to go ahead and get him. But then again, my second choice was going to be Chris Pine, but seeing as how he doesn't like comic book movies, fuck him. My ultimate second choice for Hal Jordan Green Lantern would be Armie Hammer. For those of you who don't know, Armie Hammer was, of course, supposedly was actually going to play Batman in the Justice League movie. But seeing as how DC and Warner Brothers decided to go the Man of Steel route and go with that cinematic universe, they obviously decided to drop the project, and obviously Ben Affleck's going to be Batman. But seeing as how I really like Armie Hammer, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of his. I'd like to see him in a DC comic book movie, and you know what? He can't play Batman, but why not do the next best thing? You know, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Fuck it, why not? He would be great for that. He has a really good feel for that kind of Green Lantern. But moving off of that, that's just my personal opinion. But moving off of that, going into the Jon Stewart version of Green Lantern, I go with Idris Elba. I think that's how you say his name. Terrible with names, sorry. But I really like him. He's a really good actor. I love his work. And I personally would love to see him as Jon Stewart. I think he would make a great Jon Stewart version of Green Lantern. And personally, I know a lot of other people would agree. He's definitely referenced in a lot of other fan casts that people have picked for a Jon Stewart Green Lantern. So I'd go with him too. I really like him. But as for Flash, there's only one that I would want to play the Flash, and that's Grant Gustin. Of course, Grant Gustin's going to be playing Flash in the fall of CW. But seeing as how CW is owned by Warner Brothers, I don't see why Warner Brothers doesn't just let the CW characters, be a part of the DC Cinematic Universe. I don't see why they can't just do that. And the same with Stephen Amell, you know, like, have him be Green Arrow in the DC Cinematic Universe. Why not? You know, but actually call him Green Arrow, because I'm just saying, like, the Arrow shit's starting to piss me off. It's like, you call him Green Arrow, goddammit. But that's just my personal opinion. But the Flash, if the Flash is going to be in the Cinematic Universe, I want Grant Gustin to be him. I just would love to see Grant Gustin play the Flash in the Cinematic Universe. It would just be just too perfect. It would just be amazing to see that happen. And plus, I think he would be a great with a combination with the Army Hammer Green Lantern. Like that combination would just be perfect. It's just that to me, like, just think of it as like Flash Green Lantern crossover, Grant Gustin and Army Hammer. That's just that when I see it right there in front of my eyes, to me it just feels like a good buddy cop comic book movie. It's just like perfect, and that's what I personally like to see. That's my perfect casting. But of course, that's just been my personal choice. But moving off of that, going to Man of Steel 2. Now, I know what you guys are thinking is like, what are you talking about, sir? Obviously, Henry Cavill is going to come back as Superman, so what are you doing? Of course, I'm talking about sidekicks. For a while now, a lot of people have been rumoring as to whether or not sidekicks will be introduced into the cinematic universe. For example, Nightwing, Robin, Superboy, Supergirl, Wonder Girl, and just various other sidekicks like that. And personally, I think if Man of Steel 2 is going to introduce any type of new characters, I say go ahead with Supergirl. I personally would love to see Supergirl, and seeing as how she was referenced in Man of Steel, for those of you who don't know, Supergirl was referenced in Man of Steel, and of course DC created a Man of Steel prequel comic book series where Supergirl is actually the main protagonist in that series. So of course Supergirl does live into the Man of Steel universe, but there's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not she would be in future movies. Personally, if they're going to reference any type of girl superheroes, like Hawkgirl or Black Canary or Satana, or just various other characters like that, I say we need a Supergirl. We need a Supergirl, and I'd like to see that happen. I want that to be a reality where Supergirl is going to be introduced, and why not just put her in Man of Steel 2? Fuck it, just have her be in Man of Steel 2, and reference her here and there into the rest to the prior films, and then once you get to Man of Steel 2, fuck it, just put her in there. Or have her be like one of the biggest characters besides, obviously Superman. And I personally would love to see that, and my perfect casting for that, and I don't know if anybody will agree with me, I go with, my perfect choice would definitely have to go to Diana Argon. I fucking am in love with this girl. I personally love her work. I think she's a great actress. And personally, I don't know, I think she would do great in a comic book movie. I don't know. And plus, she just has that Supergirl feel to her, She has like that definitive, like, cutesy high school girl, like, feel that Supergirl has in the comic books. And plus, I'm sure with the right training and the right Man of Steel training, and as time progresses in the DC Cinematic Universe, she would definitely be great in a Man of Steel universe. I'm pretty sure she would just do great as a Man of Steel version of Supergirl. I personally believe, and that would just be the icing on the cake. I personally would love to see her as Supergirl. That's perfect cast. But to tell you guys the truth, I've been rambling for far too long. But that's been my dream casting. Obviously, I've chosen what I like, which superheroes and which actors I'd like to see fill the bill for those specific superheroes. For, of course, the Shazam movie, the Sandman movie, the Flash Green Lantern crossover movie, and of course the Man of Steel sequel. But that's going to be it for this specific episode with my DC comic book videos. This is my dream cast, and I personally would like to see that happen. I'll definitely make a revised version by the time Warner Brothers, definitively, starts production on these projects, or obviously tells us as to whether or not any of these projects are ever going to see the light of day. I hope they do. I personally hope, because if DC is going to do a cinematic universe, they better go all out, and I'd love to see all these characters be done. I personally love to see that. And crossover movies would be the icing on the cake. But that's been my dream cast for the Justice League lineup. And what do you guys think? Did you enjoy my list? Did you get my list? Do you agree with my list? But of course, if you disagree, leave in the comments section your definitive Justice League lineup fan cast. And that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been John 12.